Happy Halloween and welcome to yet another episode of Game Reviews by James. As I promised last episode, I said I'd review one more Halloween themed video game, and the game I picked today is Scooby-Doo Mystery. I'm a big fan of Scooby-Doo. I even like the live action films, and I'm not ashamed to admit it. So let's pop this thing in and give it a try.
Scooby-Doo Mystery was developed by Sunsoft, Hanna-Barbera Productions, and the now-defunct game studio Acclaim. There are versions for both the Super Nintendo and the Sega Genesis, but they are both very different games. There isn't much known about the history to this game, so I'll just jump right in and start playing it. The game begins with the crew going to investigate a shipwreck to see if there's any buried treasure that they can claim. But once they get there, you guessed it, there's a mystery to solve. In this game, there are a total of 4 mysteries to solve, and this just so happens to be the first one. To be specific, the mystery of the Red Ryan. Let's get into the basics of the gameplay. You control Shaggy and Scooby-Doo. In this sense, it's a pretty basic platformer, but your goal isn't to get to the end of the levels and kill enemies. Your goal is to find clues. See this thing here? This is your scare meter. It fills up as you encounter enemies and monsters. Once it fills the whole way up, Shaggy and Scooby pass out. So essentially the scare meter is your health bar. Although you play as Shaggy and Scooby, the other members of the gang are pivotal points in the gameplay as well. Daphne gives you Scooby snacks which drain the scare meter, Fred takes items you find and makes traps or tools with them, and Velma analyzes the clues you find and makes deductions off of them. As within the show, the rest is up to Shaggy and Scooby. This is one of the few games I've played on the SNES that actually uses all of the buttons on the controller, and it actually uses them effectively too.
The evil clown!
But there are a few features that are sort of pointless, like the map feature. Never once did this thing come in handy during the game. So anyways, continuing on with the game, it all plays out a lot like the TV show does. The gang splits up and tries to do their own part to solve the mystery. Some of the gameplay is pretty straightforward, like entering rooms to search for clues and such, but other elements of the games require some pretty specific platforming. And it's here where I had a few problems with the game. Controlling Shaggy and Scooby is pretty stiff and can be hard to pull off. It gets frustrating when you miss jumps and have to retry something all over again that took you 6 freaking minutes to accomplish in the first place. Yeah, I haven't mentioned this yet, but this game is pretty difficult after the first stage. The first stage is very easy and straightforward, but the other 3 mysteries are pretty cryptic, and even the difficulty rises in them pretty substantially. If you do not have a guide available for this game, I suggest you get one, though I do think it is beatable without one. How does this game look? Well, I think the game looks excellent. I feel like I am actually watching an episode of the TV show, even though I'm playing a Super Nintendo game. Characters all look like they should. I mean, look at Scooby's face here. You can just see the pure fear and pitifulness of it. But it looks kinda disturbing that Shaggy just stares at you with those dead stoner eyes of his. Like, give me some weed, man! I'm not going to spoil the mysteries for you guys, but let's just say they weren't hard to see coming and are pretty predictable, especially if you've seen the TV show before. Although the story is sort of corny and foreseeable, I won't knock it because it feels like it stays true to its source material so well. Scooby-Doo is corny and predictable, but that's what makes it so fun. The first time you play this game, it'll probably only take 2.5 or 3 hours to beat, so it sorta comes up short on gameplay, especially if you paid $50 for it new in the 1990s. But now copies can be achieved for $3 on eBay, so if you have a Super Nintendo and like Scooby-Doo, just give this game a try. You probably won't hate it. Another neat aspect is that the monsters and enemies that appear actually look like they belong in the show, and some of them may even be from the show. It just makes the experience more authentic. Almost forgot to mention the bonus games, one of which is where Shaggy is throwing stuff out of the fridge and Scooby is trying to make a sandwich with it. That's not big enough? Just how stoned are you and how bad are your munchies? Another is where you play Whack-A-Monster. They are both nice distractions from the main game and don't take anything away from the overall experience. My overall sentiments of this game is that I like it a lot. I really do. I mean, it's not the best game out there, but it certainly is a lot better than some of the other games I played this Halloween. I might even go as far as to say this might just be an underrated gem on the Super Nintendo, but again, that is just my opinion about it. So, thanks so much for watching, have a happy and safe Halloween, check back later for more reviews, and since I'm in a Scooby-Doo type of mood, I think I'll give my dogs each a Scooby snack.